Big transfer story affecting Manchester City. Barcelona agreeing a deal that could total £55 million with City to sign Ferran Torres.
Ferran Torres, as you said, got one but could have had many more. Do you think he's one of the answers for Barcelona's attack?
Ferran Torres' career has been absolutely successful, but it also feels a little bit like a disappointment. And this Ferran roller coaster started the second he became a futsal icon in his school on the outskirts of Valencia. At the EPLA school, he quickly made a name for himself while playing futsal, and it didn't take long for one of the Valencia scouts to notice him, and he would eventually join their academy at 6 years old. But while he was at Valencia, the managers and training staff always knew that there was something special about this fast-footed winger. He rapidly rose through the ranks at Valencia, and in 2016, not only did he make his debut for the Spanish under-17s, but he also made his debut for the Valencia B team. However, not all of this excitement or belief in Ferran was felt by everyone around him, because according to a few of his teammates from the time, they weren't that impressed by his impact on the pitch. Which is unusual because today, you often see older players being interviewed about youth players training with the team, and they speak highly about many of them, just like Gavi and Lamine. When they made the teams, they immediately made an impact on the players around them, and the players around them saw their potential. But you can't say the same for Ferran. A teammate of his at Valencia B was asked by The Guardian in 2020 if Ferran impressed them at the time, and the teammate said that he didn't stand out among their team at all. Though he did say that Ferran was nice but quiet and good in training, he wasn't that impactful on the pitch. The excitement around Ferran was always very different to the excitement that we see around the best players, and a lot of that probably had to do with what he contributed in important matches. Yet, he was promoted to the first team within a year. With Valencia's first team, Ferran Torres was decent, and he did impress people at times, but it wasn't a mythically impactful experience. 13 goal contributions in 71 appearances in La Liga is nothing to brag about, but I guess it was enough for Pep Guardiola to see him being worth up to 35 million euros in 2020. That's very steep for 13 goal contributions, but maybe Pep Guardiola saw something, the same thing that all his managers and the staff had seen from him at Valencia, that his teammates and fans just couldn't see. And the story about his move to Barcelona is very much the same. Ferran had 12 goal contributions in 28 games for City, and sure, that's better than what he did at Valencia, but again, is it worth 65 million euros? I don't really think so. But yet again, someone, maybe Xavi, maybe Joan Laporta, someone saw something in him that fans and teammates didn't necessarily see because he wasn't creating this beautiful end product that was expected of him. And since he arrived in Barcelona, not much has changed. Sure, his first goal for the team was beautiful, but he ended that first year with only 4 goals in 18 league appearances on top of an XG of 7. So clearly, something was going on. Something was holding him back that may have been a major indicator of why maybe people never really saw Ferran Torres' potential, except the people that know ball the best, like Pep and Xavi. So many of the world's best players are incredibly mentally strong because they have to be that way to make it to the very top. Think Cristiano, Zlatan, Pogba. Sure, these are cherry-picked examples, but they clearly have something about them that help them get to the position that they are in. And I believe that a lot of the very best, most promising players have that mentality, even if they aren't as obvious as those other 3 players are with it. We even learned in my last video that when Gavi was young, he was a quiet and shy kid off of the pitch. But the second he got onto it, he became an animal, a leader of the team. And it just does not feel like Ferran Torres has that at all. And I think a lot of the reason for his mentality or his lack there of confidence has to do with the way he was treated at Valencia. It seems like they always thought of him as a prodigy, so maybe he never needed to or had the opportunity to grow the hunger needed to be successful at the highest level. That confidence in believing that you are good, not only just being good. Apparently, he was always the club captain of his youth teams. He may have always been a leader, but when he was shoved into a position where he wasn't going to be that, and maybe that there was going to be pressure on him, he folded. When he played for Valencia, he was so young and the team was a mid-table team. so there weren't a ton of expectations on his shoulders. At Man City, it was a very similar picture. He went there during 2020, so his stay was very interrupted by COVID-19, and he was also surrounded by some of the best creators in the world, as well as the best coach in the world. On top of that, he didn't exactly come with that high of a price tag that's going to create incredibly high expectations. So it's probably not like the fans or the club cared that much about how much he was contributing. But everything changed the second he went to Barcelona, joining the team in the middle of a season where they were struggling to even finish top 4, and the financial ruin of the Bartomeu era was beginning to show. Every single fan had very high expectations for him, and for very good reason. He came for upwards of 65 million euros from Manchester City at only 21 years old. That just smells like incredibly talented player, very exciting player. Barcelona severely needed goals, and they severely needed a good goal scorer. A lot of people thought that could be Ferran Torres, but it wasn't. At Barcelona, Ferran would not have the breathing room that he probably needed because everyone expected him to get up and start running immediately, which of course didn't happen, or at least it didn't really happen. I don't think it helped that his first goal for Barcelona was an incredibly clutch masterpiece. So all the culés were ready to laud him as the guy. And well, Ferran Torres was not at all ready to be the guy. He even came out and said that he lost his confidence and that everything was affecting him, that he was in a bottomless pit and saw no way out. That is not a 65 million euro mentality. And for the remainder of the season, Barcelona fans watched in vain as it seemed like he fumbled chance after chance, and it culminated in a lot of people calling for him to be sold in the summer of 2023. But due to Ferran wanting to prove himself, and probably also the club not being able to sell him for more than they still owed to City, Ferran stayed. Also, only 3% of you are subscribed, so consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss my next video. Being as down on your luck as Ferran was, getting pushed out of your dream club could have and probably should have ruined him. He wasn't just the forward who was missing the most important chances, but now he was also unwanted. And I don't think anyone would have blamed him for wanting to leave. And honestly, it would have made a lot of people happy too. But he stayed, and when the season resumed after a curious transfer market, Ferran came out of it looking very good. Barca had signed a few players, but they also lost a few, keeping Ferran's spot as the second or third choice in all of his positions pretty much the same. But Ferran took advantage of the few chances he got this time. That's so rare to say very often, something Barcelona wasn't really able to say since Ansu first appeared on the scene a few years ago. He impressed a lot of people, and he also shut up a lot of haters. A lot of players say that they want to prove themselves at a team and refuse getting pushed out, but it is always hard for fans to tell if that's actually the truth or if it has something more to do with their major salary that they're on. For Ferran, it really looks like he was being honest. He's calling himself a shark now. That's something that he was probably recommended to do by his therapist. That's a behavior that looks incredibly similar to what Zlatan did when he called himself a lion. And as cheesy as it is to make up your own nickname, having the confidence in yourself or even just faking it to create your own nickname can have a very beneficial result. And I think that is exactly what we are seeing now. Sure, some games he looks more confident than others, and I'm sure it doesn't help that he is still second choice in most of his positions, even with all of the injuries. But with all those injuries, now is the time, if ever, to prove himself to Xavi that he is worth minutes, that he is worth a starting spot in this squad. I wouldn't be surprised if his confidence is a bit shallow right now, but that is honestly how all confidence starts. The quote, "fake it till you make it," was created for a reason, and that's exactly what I think Ferran is trying to do right now. He is going to create a confidence in him that hopefully leads to him finishing off his chances. Ferran's entire career has been such a confusing roller coaster of incredible expectations, but disappointing impacts in the actual games, over and over again at pretty much every team he shows up in. And a lot of that has to do with his confidence issue. But if he can fix that, like he is very clearly trying to do right now, the Shark has a lot of potential. And if you're a Barcelona fan, you should be very excited, because even myself this past summer, I thought Ferran Torres should go to bring in some money. I wanted Ansu to stay and Ferran to leave. But right now, I'm not that upset that Ansu left, and I'm kind of excited that Ferran is still here. If you enjoyed this video, why don't you check out this video, which is all about the untold story of Gavi and how Gavi became the player he is today. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.